All right, guys, I'm going to go through the instructions for rolling the dice on genetics. So essentially this game or this assignment is building skills to kind of get you to that final assignment or assessment, I should say. So this is just kind of a baby step towards that. First step here is called the breeding goals. Instructions is to fill out the information below obtained from reading through the breeding goals document. So you're going to open this document right here. And you'll notice across the top, or across right here, there's a list of everyone's names along with numbers that they are assigned, okay? So first you got to find your name, figure out what situation you were assigned. And then you want to go below and you want to read the scenario that you were assigned, okay? So after obtaining the number of your breeding goal, read through the information for the chicken you are trying to breed. So this is essentially, you're going to create a crossbreeding program to try to get an outcome of the perfect chicken to fit this scenario. So I'm going to give just one as an example. So someone would like a chicken for the following environment. Chicken will be kept in a small coop in a backyard with a few other chickens. They would like to be calm and docile while also producing a high amount of eggs. Most importantly, they don't want the chicken to be considered a large breed or a bully breed known to be aggressive. So you're going to have to kind of highlight what's key about that situation. So what are some key characteristics? Just reading that little blurb about what you're trying to breed for that are important to make sure you have in your livestock or in your chicken, okay? Then you're going to go back and you're going to kind of list those. So create a list of desired traits. So what is the desired traits you're breeding for? Out of that couple of sentences you got, what are important things that you want to make sure your chicken has? And then here is a list of traits to prevent. So something that you want to make sure you're not breeding for and you're not getting that into your genetics and having something that the scenario doesn't call for, okay? Now, once you have those two traits listed, you kind of have an idea of what kind of chickens you're going to look at. So then you're going to go down to breeding. So create a crossbreeding program using the chicken breed Google Slides. Your goal is to produce an offspring closest to the desired goal you were assigned. So this is the chicken slideshow, okay? So it's got every single or 8 of the example breeds, and each slide has 1 through 3 of strengths and 4 through 6 of weaknesses, okay? So you want to look through here and kind of get an idea of what poultry possess the strengths that you're looking for and which ones are you going to want to use in your breeding program. You can use one chicken more than once. That's fine. It's just you need to make sure that it's a crossbreeding program using kind of multiple different varieties, okay? So once you have that kind of figured out, you're going to use the rolling the dice on genetics video to hear the numbers that you're going to use for traits, okay? So this is what you're going to do, okay? You're going to open this YouTube video right here. And I'm going to show you real quick before I actually start that. So here's our first breeding. So this is what we're going to breed first. Our first breeding, our female is going to be a purebred and our male is going to be a purebred. I just make sure this video pauses. So our female is going to be a purebred and our male. So we're going to copy this and we're going to type in specifically what breed we want to use. So you're going to type in the name of the breed you want to use. It doesn't matter which one's the female, which one's the male for this example or for this first breeding. But you want to make sure you're deleting this and typing in the breed that you want to use, okay? And I had done an example on a previous video that didn't work, so that's what these are. So below we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's important that those are numbered, and these are our female traits, and these are going to be our male traits, henceforth, way they kind of fall over under the comments. So once we have our 2 breeds picked out that we're going to breed, we're going to watch this video. And I remind you, you can skip 10 seconds by hitting the arrow button. So I'm going to, oh yeah, sorry. I'm going to roll for the female first. So the first genetic trait that I get is a 4, okay? So that's the first thing I get for female. And I talk about that in the video. I say, like, this is for the female for the first breeding. So hopefully that's not confusing. If you want, it might help if you just watch the video all the way through and just make a worksheet for yourself to fill out on which is what number, which I can make that key for you. I'll do that. In case you want to use that, and I'll link it on here so you can have it. So the first one is 4. So let's say we're going to use this leghorn. So the first one is flighty disposition. That's kind of not good. That's a negative, obviously. It's a weakness. So on my genetics here, I would put flighty. Okay, and then I would listen to the other 2 roles, and then I would list what those ones bring, and then eventually I would get to the male, which is what I'm going to move to. So I think that's the male, I'm not sure. But let's say I was going to use this Orpington, calm disposition. So that's great. So they kind of cancel each other out a little bit. So I'm going to put for 4, I'm going to put calm disposition. Okay. So this F1 traits, these are genetics that we're obtaining from this crossbreed. Okay. So right now I have it's flighty and it's calm, and you'll have 4 other traits listed here. Now, the next portion is where I decide whether or not this is an animal that's starting to meet the desired trait. So I have to insert yes or no based on, is this an animal that is meeting the traits that I want? If yes, then you're going to want to go ahead and insert that animal into genetics. So right here for crossbreeding 2, you would you would delete this and you would put F1. Okay, so that would be this characteristic list right here. So now when I'm rolling for the next breeding, so when I'm on breeding number 2 for the female, I'm going to look back up here and pull the numbers from there. Okay, so when I'm breeding for second breeding and I'm rolling for the female ones, I would look right back up here to see which ones are which. Okay. And then for the male, I'm going to pick a purebred, obviously. So I would just, again, go back to this list and pick from one of these. Maybe I want to pick the silky. And I would continue breeding. Now, let's say like my answer is no for this one. Like this did not come anywhere near what I'm trying to breed for my goal. I might want to use a purebred. So I might not want to use a breed or a generation. I might want to use a purebred. So I might like delete that out and be like, nope, I'm going to go back and try again and pick 2 different breeds, breed them again, and pick a male breed then and just start over. Your goal is to use one of your generations. So don't just be like, oh, well, it's easier not to do that and just use purebred breedings every time. Your goal is to use one of those crossbreds eventually, or one of those generations to make a crossbred. Okay. So you're going to do 4 breedings in total, and then you're going to get to the reflection portion. So reflection portion, first provide information on the the crossbred animal you produce, then compare it to the desired traits from your breeding goal. So first thing, you're going to say offspring produced. Right here, you're going to insert what generation you use. So you're going to look through kind of your generations that you've created, and you're going to pick which one you think is the best, which one has those traits that you think qualify it to be a good candidate for this one. And then you're going to list all the traits that they have, and you're going to list those goal offspring from traits from up top here. So you're just going to copy and paste them from up top here, put them here, and then you're going to answer these 2 questions. So did you produce a chicken that met your goal? So comparing these traits of your offspring that you produced to the goal offspring, did you meet your goal? Is this an animal that would be accepted for that goal situation? And then how was this activity in comparison to the breeding your perfect pet assignment? So remember, breeding your perfect pet assignment, you just essentially got whatever traits you wanted. This one, you had to roll and take a chance that you weren't going to get it. So was it easier? Was it harder? And explain why. Big piece is explaining why. Why was it easier? Why was it harder? And we're not talking about like the activity itself. Like, we're not talking like, oh, was this more complicated? We're talking about like, as far as getting your goal animal, was it easier to produce your perfect pet in that activity, or was it easier to produce this goal animal? Okay. And then how is this a good reflection of what it's like to breed livestock? So why is this a good example of kind of what it's like to try to be a livestock producer and to try to kind of obtain that perfect genetics that everyone's looking for? And that's it. That's the instructions. That's going through everything. So hope this helps.